Hey everybody, welcome back to another box office recap. Hope you guys been enjoying the content channel as of late. I have been trying to record this now like maybe 3 or 4 times, two of which were yesterday because my software kept crashing, and just now I tried to record, but my kitty cat decided to walk in front of the recording and then touch things by accident. So we're trying this again. Hopefully this is the last time because this is becoming a chore to do. But um, but anyways, we are here for another recap, and this is of course coming off of September. We are now in the midst of October, so we're going to check out September and see what was going on there in terms of offerings at the theater. So I want to give you guys some of my measurements on how I look at box office takes. If it's a single digit, I think of the 2 times ratio. If it's a double digit, I do 2.5. And if it's a triple digit, I do 3 times. Now, I also, these numbers specifically, uh, excuse me, this is what I believe the company standards are for these investments. We also do consider the bare minimum at the end of the day. So, like just a simple 2 times ratio. And we'll see comparing to the higher margins that it needs to hit versus just bare minimum what it would need to do, and seeing how everything stacks up and determining whether it is actually successful or not. I also do include any publicly known marketing expenses or anything related to that, like anything like reshoots or whatever. And if the information is not available, I'm just judging purely by the production expenses alone or by what is available on the internet. So, what we know of online. So hopefully that all makes sense. So let's dive right on in. The Conjuring: Last Rites. This was, of course, the billing being the final Conjuring film. Came out on September 5th, distributed through Warner Brothers, and frankly, it will not be the last of the Conjuring movies because if you check out how it's done very, very well. Generated $436 million so far. Had a production of 55 million. No known marketing expenses as far as I can tell. So just a $55 million investment, as we know of. Bare minimum, the film would have to have done at least 110 million, and the break-even point, this being 2.5, $137.5 million. So done way beyond that. So yeah, this is a big success for them. And for WB especially, I think that horror has been the saving grace for them this year because we had Sinners, Final Destination Bloodlines, we had Weapons last month, which was also a big hit, and now we have this. So I think that horror has been has been very integral for WB's success because their other properties have not been as strong. So their comic book properties or their other bigger notable projects like F1, for example. Um, so yeah, horror is just again showing you that it is going to be the dominant force in terms of just the consumption for viewers. I really think it's going to be horror in the future. So yeah, definitely not the last Conjuring movie though. We're definitely going to see more in the future. Just give it a couple of years. Okay. I know there's a TV show coming out already, but film wise, there'll definitely be more. Just gotta wait a couple of years. So. But moving on from that, we're jumping into the next weekend now with Downtown Abbey, the grand finale. So this is capping off the series as well as the films, and again, I believe this is the final one as well, given the title. So, um, release date came out on September 12th. This is distributed through Universal Pictures, and unlike The Conjuring, Last Rites, this one unfortunately has not done all that well. Total gross so far of at least 77 million. Had a smaller production compared to The Conjuring with 50 million. No marketing expenses as far as I can tell. So we have an investment that's sitting at least 50 million. So bare minimum, the film would have need to have done at least 100 million, and the break-even point would have to be around 125 million. So yeah, so it's probably not going to end up getting to that place, especially since it's now getting closer to 80 million at this point. and it's already came out in the UK. If you're wondering, it came out the same day, September 12th. So it's not like the UK hasn't factored into this yet, because it probably would be a larger demographic for this kind of film. So it just seems that nobody really has much of a care for the series or the film series as it is now, frankly, at all. So it's a little bit of a disappointment for them. These movies, I don't recall them ever being like major hits. They just kind of make enough to satisfy. But in this case, it seems as though that no longer applies. So yeah, so kind of a bummer. I guess. I mean, I don't really care. I don't care for the series. I never watched it at all, and it seems a lot of you also felt the same, because a lot of you didn't really care to seek this out. Even people in the UK seems like they didn't really care to watch either. So yeah, it just kind of ends on a bit of a whimper and not a triumph, as it were. The Long Walk. This was the latest adaptation the latest Stephen King adaptation. This was released on the 12th, same weekend as Downton Abbey. Next, also from Mark Hamill, because he also did another adaptation from Stephen King, the Life of Chuck, which I thought was okay. This distributed through Lionsgate, and this has been doing fairly well. Looking at least 36 million so far, have a production of 20 million, so pretty small. Investment wise, we're sitting at 20 million. At least about, we don't know any publicly known marketing expenses. So 20 million we know. So bare minimum, the film will have to do at least 40 million, break even point at least 50 million in terms of higher margins. I think this will end up doing fine. It's on track to doing maybe not 50 million, but it will definitely hit around close to that number. So I think this is a win for Lionsgate, a much needed win, because this company definitely has not been getting a lot of wins as of late. So, and also illustrative again of smaller risk, higher profits, higher margins, higher profits that you can gain. So yeah, good on this film. Small budget definitely worked on their favor in this case. So, Spinal Tap 2: The End Continues. I put this in just because I know that it was a notable, it was a mockumentary, right? That came out many years ago. So just for notability, I think that it qualifies for this recap. Came out the same weekend as The Long Walk and Downton Abbey, distributed through Bleecker Street. And well, yeah, seems like nobody cared to watch this. Total gross so far, we're looking at 3 million, and that number has not changed, by the way. I've been checking back every week. Just that's usually what I do with these lists, just checking each week how the films do. This has not moved at all. It's still at 3 million. I don't know if it currently still is, but as for the past few weeks, it's not changed at all. So either the theater chains just decided to just toss this out, or it was pulled out and thrown on streaming. I have no idea what happened, but clearly, judging by the production, which was 22.6, no publicly known marketing expenses. So we're looking at 22.6 million as an overall investment, as far as we know. Bare minimum, the film would have to do at least 45.2 million, and the higher margins would be 56.5 million. Clearly not the case. Clearly not happening. Clearly no Spinal Tap 3. So major loss, major failure there, and it's pretty illustrative. If it is still in fact at 3 million, I'll check during the editing and see if that's the case. But yeah, just no one seemed to care. That's just a huge part. And also, there wasn't a lot of marketing attached to it. I don't remember seeing any advertisements for this. So I just kind of came and went, and nobody seemed to care when it was available. So him. This is going into the next weekend, so now we're looking at the 19th. This was the horror film with Marlon Wayans, who is playing like some coach or whatever, and he's like trying to prep an upcoming football player, and it's like a cult type thing going on in the background, something like that. This is the one with Jordan Peele producing, so his Monkey Paw Productions is involved. Distributed through Universal Pictures, and well, this has not done all that well. Looking at 21.2 million so far as a gross, and budget wise, very small. Looking at 27 million, no known marketing expenses. Um, so 27 million is all we have in terms of a reference for investment. So bare minimum, the film would have needed done at least 54 million. Higher margins at least 67.5 million. Clearly not going to happen. Clearly a failure here, and I think a lot of it has to do with perception on this case. Um, and I think it's just because people just were not pleased with the results. Kind of similar to Megan 2.0 this year, where world reception largely dictated the financial results of the film. So, just people didn't really seem to resonate with it, and people didn't really care to also give it a go after hearing what other people were probably saying about it. So yeah, big failure here, and very unfortunate given how small of a production it was. It didn't really need to do too much to turn a profit, but reception worked against it in this case. So, a big, bold, beautiful journey. Now, we actually have a review for this coming out tomorrow, so you'll see my thoughts there, how I feel about this. Came out the same weekend as him, distributed through Sony. This is the Margot Robbie, Colin Farrell, uh, a romance feature. It was directed by Konata, who's a good talent. But nobody seemed to really care when this came out because, that's this is bad. Total gross, we're looking at 14 million so far. We have a production of at 45 million. We do know the marketing cost on this, which was an additional 20 million. So investment is sitting at around 65 million. So bare minimum, the film would need to do at least 130 million, and the higher margins it would need to do 162.5 million. So clearly not going to happen. Major flop here. I think that the two reasons for it is a lot to do with release window. Being put against a horror, I think, is going to work against it. And similar to him, I don't think that there was a lot of strong reception to this as well. You'll see my review tomorrow, and you'll see how I feel about it. But those two factors, I believe, and also just a lack of marketing, I believe, also on this end. Um, it did not resonate, and also people just frankly just didn't seem to care to check it out. So, and original, concepts as well also have a harder time getting people to come to the theater to see their projects. So there were a lot of factors working against it. So Big Bold Beautiful Journey is a interesting title for what was mostly a big bold beautiful disaster. So yeah, not good. There's no other way to say it. It was a bomb. There's no two ways about it. So, one battle after another. We did a review for this on my channel, and I thought it was good. Again, not great, but good. This was distributed through Warner Brothers. This is a Paul Thomas Anderson feature, Leonardo DiCaprio starring, and similar to A Big Bold Beautiful Journey, this did not do well at all. Open to 48.1 million as far as I read. This has a production that is all over the place in terms of numbers. This is just classic at this point. Like just this year, there's so many instances where big budgets like this just get thrown around in terms of numbers. Captain America: Brave New World had this happen. Fantastic Four had this happen. Jurassic World had this happen. F1 had this happen. Superman had this happen. It's just all over the place with numbers, with their major heavy investments with some of these companies. And one battle after another appears to have been another case of that, because some sources will tell you it's as low as 130 million, while others will tell you it's 175. So I'm considering both numbers in this equation. It doesn't really matter though, given the results. But marketing wise, we do know that it is sitting at least 70 million. So investment overall, it is as low as 200 million and as high as 245 million. Now, bare minimum, the film would need to do at least 400 million to 490 million, and the higher margins it would need to hit would be around 600 million to 735 million dollars. Clearly not going to happen. Now, according to some sources I read, the company is saying that the film would need to make at least 300 million to break even. I think that that's being generous. I think that they're just strictly considering production on its own, because when you consider production on its own, 130 times that by two, so yeah, so 260, so that's where they're probably thinking, is just squarely to do production, but they're hoping that you don't consider marketing on top of that, but that is a factor here. So that is a lie. That's just their way of spinning it. And again, I think that that's also it's a case of what they'll accept at this point, given what is probably going to end up with this. This is more than likely going to sit at maybe like 100 million when it's all said and done, but nothing any further than that. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened here. I think this is probably the case of just I don't know if there were reshoots or just delays for a couple years, or I don't know if DiCaprio also demands. I know he demands big salaries, so I know that he definitely contributes to this in some regard. Um, but yeah, this is a $80 million film packaged in a close to $200 million film. So I'm not sure what happened with this, but definitely it was not smart in any way. So yeah, so another big failure for Warner Brothers, just adding on to the list of triple digit things that just go like this, the box office. And this was definitely another one of those where, I mean, it was an original piece. I mean, yes, it has a lot of good reception to it, but not enough to sustain the kind of investment that it carries or justify it at all. So yeah, not good, not good at all, not good at all. So Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. Um, Yeah, this is a very like niche thing, so you'll see in a second. So, distributed through Universal Pictures. I believe this was a show on Nickelodeon. I think I could be wrong. I forget where. I don't know. It's kind of a new thing. But yeah, not doing well at all. Total gross so far, we're looking at 19.4 million. Had a production of 32 million, so pretty small. We don't know any marketing expenses associated with this. I know they're advertising it a little bit in theaters, so I'm not sure how much marketing wise it was here. But what we do know about it is a $32 million production. So, bare minimum, the film would need to do at least 64 million, and the higher margins it would need to hit is at least 80 million. Definitely not going to be the case. Just looking at where it's at. Yeah, like I said, very niche audience. I don't think that it is a. I think like I said, it's a very recent form of children's television. So you're hitting very specific margins. A lot of adults are not going to know what this is. A lot of other, past generations are not going to know what this is. Is very squarely catering to a Gen Z and whatever the next generation is type of crowd. So so it was working against itself, ultimately, because it's not a well established property. It's I don't even know what the hell it is. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I thought it might maybe do a little bit more, given just children's programming. Maybe it might resonate a little bit more, but clearly it didn't. And I think that it's a lot just to do with, like I said, just the generational impact that it has. It's very much here and not here, where it really needed to be here. So yeah. So that's my thoughts on that. So, The Strangers Chapter 2. Distributed once again through Lionsgate, and not off to the strongest start. Total gross so far, looking at 7 million. Budget wise, remains the same as the original. I checked, it's about the same. 8.5 million. Don't know any marketing expenses, any publicly known marketing expenses. So if we're looking at investment of 8.5 million, bare minimum, the film needs to do at least 17 million, and the higher margins it would need to hit is 21.25 million. I'd want to say that it will end up doing okay, but according to some research that I did, it's done half the amount that the original did on opening weekend. The original opened to 12 million. This is doing 6 to 7 million, so about half that. Um, I think ultimately it will end up doing fine just because it is very, very low scale, so it doesn't need to do a whole lot to justify its production. Um, but I also would not be surprised if it fell off, after a few weeks because there there isn't a whole lot of chatter surrounding this except, I mean, negative association really. So and there was negative association with the first one, but the first one ended up doing just fine. So so I think this will end up doing fine purely because I just think that it's so small, so I don't think that it is going to require as much. And being that a horror, I think, is also beneficial because it's going to, bring in a certain amount of audiences, regardless in terms of quality, because horror just resonates, it just stands, on a certain level that other genres just can't match. Um, so I think that ultimately I think it'll do fine. But I also wouldn't be shocked if it ended up falling a little bit behind in terms of expectations. So yeah, so if you were counting, that is at least 9 features that came out this year or this this month. In terms of those 9, 3 of those are looking to do fine. Conjuring, we know, did great. Long Walk is on its way to doing good. And Strangers Chapter 2, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt just because, again, it's a small, very, very small thing, so I don't think it requires as much to be considered successful. But we'll see in the next few weeks if that holds. But this was another down month, though, because we have 6 films that did not do well. A lot of that is attributed to, I think, just what they are in terms of just content, and in some cases, like One Battle After Another, just major, major investments that don't need to be there at all. Um, so, so it was a bit of another down month again. And at least this time around, there were some shining spots here and there. But again, still, though, another down month nonetheless. And how this all factors into the year generally, when you look at the numbers there, it is still a trying time. It is still a very, very trying time. Looking at 25 features that have done well so far compared to the 60 that haven't done well, it just goes to show you that this year is not a good year. That we'll see how October, November, and December do, but I don't think it's going to be a game changer. Um, I really don't think so at this point because this is another down year. I mean, it's just what it is. It's just another down year, and yeah, it's just it's just really, really unfortunate, you know. But I've been saying this before. I think that next year is going to be stronger because we have a little bit more. We have a little more notability coming out next year. We have Avengers. We have Star Wars. We have some other features here and there. And this year there will be some other notable features coming out that will do fine as well. We have Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on the way. We have Avatar coming out soon. Zootopia 2. We have Tron Ares this month, but I doubt that that's going to do anything really. Um, but there's still a few things on the horizon that will end up doing fine. But it's not going to really change the entire year as it stands. This year has not been great, and it's just another down year. There's not really a whole lot other ways to describe it. So, but we'll see how October fares. It's Tron Ares, so we'll see how it goes. I doubt that it's going to do great, but we'll see how it all pans out. But there you guys have it. Those are my thoughts. I'm sorry if it was just all edited together. My editing software for some reason has just been glitching out. So I'm sorry if this is all like kind of literally segmented out. It's just how it had to be this today. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this past month's box office. What you guys think did well compared to what didn't. Your predictions for this month, what you guys feel Tron Ares is going to do, as well as other features coming out, and your thoughts on for just the next coming few months, what you feel like is going to do well, and generally how you feel next year is probably going to be as well compared to this year. And your thoughts on this year generally, what your thoughts are financially, that is. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.